In a powerful demonstration of humanity's accelerating march into the era of commercial spaceflight, the Axiom-4 mission lifted off from NASA's Kennedy Space Center on June 25, 2025, aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, bound for the International Space Station (ISS). This milestone flight carried a uniquely international crew of 4 astronauts under the command of veteran space traveler Dr. Peggy Whitson, marking the 4th fully private crewed mission by Axiom Space to the ISS. The launch not only reinforced SpaceX's growing dominance in human spaceflight logistics but also validated Axiom's expanding role as the vanguard of a new commercial frontier in orbit, one focused on science, diplomacy, and economic opportunity. The Crew Dragon spacecraft Freedom, which had previously flown NASA and private crews alike, was perched atop a Falcon 9 rocket at Launch Complex 39A, the same launch pad once used by Apollo 11 and the Space Shuttle program. As the clock struck 3:42 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the rocket ignited in a blaze of controlled fury, roaring into Florida's blue sky and leaving behind a trail of fire and history. The Falcon 9's first stage, performing flawlessly, returned to Earth with a pinpoint landing on SpaceX's drone ship A Shortfall of Gravitas, stationed several hundred kilometers off the Atlantic coast. Meanwhile, Freedom separated from the second stage and began its orbital ballet, a series of engine burns and orbital corrections to intercept the ISS 400 kilometers above Earth. The crew on board represents one of the most diverse groupings of private astronauts assembled to date. Commanding the mission is Dr. Peggy Whitson, a record-breaking former NASA astronaut and biochemist whose experience in spaceflight is unparalleled. With over 665 cumulative days in space, including time spent as ISS commander, Whitson brings a steady, experienced hand to this ambitious commercial endeavor. She has now become the first astronaut to command 2 private Axiom missions, a reflection of her continued leadership in human spaceflight. Seated beside her is pilot Dr. Marco Sieber of Switzerland, a trained physician and Swiss Army medical officer who was selected as a reserve astronaut by the European Space Agency (ESA) in 2022. Sieber represents the merging of medicine and engineering in the unique context of microgravity research. Mission specialist Ali Al-Karni, a Royal Saudi Air Force fighter pilot, became the face of Saudi Arabia's revitalized space program. He brings not only aerospace acumen but also represents a new generation of Middle Eastern space ambitions. Joining him is Marcus Want of Sweden, also representing ESA. Want, a former Gripen fighter test pilot and tech entrepreneur, embodies the synergy of defense aviation and space-based innovation. Once in orbit, the capsule began a 36-hour journey toward the ISS, during which the crew performed a battery of checkouts and test maneuvers to ensure all systems aboard Freedom were nominal. On June 27, at approximately 6:23 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the spacecraft docked autonomously to the Harmony module's forward port. The ISS crew, comprising American, Russian, European, and Japanese astronauts, welcomed their new visitors with smiles and open arms. The station, now a hub for both governmental and private missions, momentarily transformed into a bustling orbital laboratory and international meeting point. The objectives of Axiom-4 go far beyond just transportation. Over the course of their 2-week mission, the astronauts are scheduled to conduct more than 25 cutting-edge experiments in biomedical research, fluid physics, robotics, and materials science. Among these, a high-profile experiment led by a Saudi medical institute seeks to observe stem cell development and differentiation in microgravity, potentially laying the groundwork for future regenerative medicine breakthroughs on Earth. A Swiss study, in collaboration with European universities, will evaluate cardiac function under prolonged weightlessness, offering data relevant to both long-term space missions and elderly patients on Earth. Meanwhile, Marcus Want will conduct a robotics testbed experiment for ESA, helping develop semi-autonomous repair systems for use in remote or hostile environments, both in space and on Earth. The mission also incorporates significant outreach initiatives. The astronauts are scheduled to participate in live video sessions with students from around the world, answering questions from classrooms in Riyadh, Stockholm, Zurich, and beyond. This global educational initiative underscores Axiom's mission to inspire the next generation of explorers while democratizing access to space. Through such interaction, space becomes not just a scientific venture, but a powerful unifying platform for cultures, values, and ambitions. For Axiom Space, Axiom-4 is a critical step forward. The company's modular space station components, currently under construction, are slated for launch beginning in 2026. These modules, which will attach to the ISS before detaching to form an independent space station, are designed for multifaceted use, from commercial R&D and in-orbit manufacturing to microgravity tourism and long-duration astronaut training. The Axiom station aims to become the successor to the ISS by the end of the decade, once the latter is retired. In this context, Axiom-4 is not merely a mission, it's a rehearsal for the future. NASA's support of the mission underscores a strategic pivot in its long-term exploration goals. While the agency continues to lead deep space exploration through the Artemis program and upcoming missions to the Moon and Mars, it is deliberately outsourcing low Earth orbit operations to private partners like Axiom. This shift is intended to foster a robust commercial ecosystem in space while allowing NASA to redirect its focus and budget to more ambitious destinations. The role of SpaceX cannot be overstated. The company's proven Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon systems have become the backbone of modern American human spaceflight. Their reliability, reusability, and cost efficiency have shattered previous price models and enabled a new class of missions that were once financially inconceivable. SpaceX's ongoing partnership with Axiom Space showcases how commercial synergies can scale rapidly and safely, opening the door to a new space economy. As the Axiom-4 mission unfolds aboard the ISS, its broader implications continue to resonate across the global space community. It sends a clear signal: space is no longer the exclusive realm of government astronauts selected from elite military or scientific ranks. Today, doctors, engineers, entrepreneurs, and test pilots from around the world can chart their own path to orbit through commercial pathways. This shift also invites smaller nations to participate in the space age without the overhead of building massive launch infrastructure or domestic astronaut corps. In essence, Axiom-4 is more than just a mission, it's a statement of intent. It demonstrates the technical viability, scientific richness, and global inclusiveness of private spaceflight. It showcases what's possible when innovation, ambition, and collaboration align in orbit. And perhaps most importantly, it sows the seeds for a future where access to space is broad-based, sustainable, and woven into the fabric of everyday scientific and economic life. As the capsule Freedom remains docked to the ISS, serving as both a lifeboat and a symbol, the crew's work continues. Each experiment, broadcast, and shared moment in orbit adds a layer to humanity's unfolding story in space. And when Axiom-4 returns to Earth in mid-July, splashing down gently in the Atlantic Ocean, it will bring with it not just data and memories, but momentum. Momentum toward a future where the extraordinary becomes routine, and where low Earth orbit is no longer the final destination, but the beginning of something far greater.